Am I the a-hole for canceling the family trip because my stepson damaged my plants? I grow indoor plants and keep them around the house, whether by the kitchen window or out on the front porch. I have a variety of plants like lily, aloe vera, also flowers, and they all require care and attention. It's a hobby of mine, and because I don't own enough space, I just stick to indoor planting. I have a 16-year-old stepson, Sean, who loves to pull all kinds of pranks, and has been trying some weird pranks on me lately. I don't mind it as long as he's happy, and also because nothing is too serious. Just hiding my farming tools / replacing them with damaged ones and so on. It just keeps messing around like any other kid. But days ago, he posted a Facebook video of him spraying cold water on me when I was sleeping. It was embarrassing since he shared it with family. I got mad at him and had him delete it despite him begging me to let him keep it. He kept sulking afterwards and had his mom try to convince me to let him repost the video, but I thought that was a crazy request. Then suddenly, Sean became friendly and asked if he could water my plants. I was glad he asked and gave him the watering can and told him to start with the plants in the kitchen. He was gone for a few minutes, then he got back and started watering all the plants in the house. Later in the evening, I was cleaning my tools and there was a weird smell coming from the watering can. It smelled like bleach. I freaked out and checked my plants, and the same smell was coming from them. I confronted Sean and asked what he watered the plants with. He acted dumb and said nothing, but I found a bottle of bleach in his room, which made me lose my temper. He admitted watering my plants with bleach to get back at me for making him remove the video. I was mortified. I immediately canceled the weekend trip to the national park that he was looking forward to. He started crying, saying it was too much, and that he made a mistake in moments of clouded judgment, but I refused to discuss it. Now my wife feels bad because Sean hasn't been eating well since I canceled the trip, but he damaged my plants and caused me hurt and pain. She thinks an apology was enough, that he is a kid and made a mistake. She wanted me to let it go, but I said canceling the trip is his official punishment. Period. I got called unreasonable and stubborn for this, and that I don't respect her as a parent too, and said taking away the only thing he cares about the most and look forward the most reeks of mistreatment. Sean has this mentality that if he admits doing something wrong, then he'll be forgiven. This isn't how it should be, but his mother thinks admitting to it and apologizing should be the end of it. Now for the top comments. Not a hole. That seems like a reasonable punishment for a horrible, hateful act. My wife feels bad because Sean hasn't been eating well since I canceled the trip. He'll get over it. I know, right? He isn't eating well? Who cares? Is the mom really this easily manipulated? He's 2 years from being an adult, and right now he's acting like a remorseless sociopath. I was shocked that Stepson was 16. He destroyed Opie's plans, and he did all that because Opie told him to delete a video that he was in and embarrassed him? Him not eating and crying because he couldn't go to the trip, and having the mentality that because I apologized everything is 100% alright is so childish. Opie's wife's probably worse because she allows her kid to do these stuffs without consequences, and is the one who put that mentality in his head. Yes, she's letting him treat an apology like it's a reset button. I guess if Opie apologizes to her and step-kid for canceling the trip, but leaves it cancelled, then everything is back to being great, right? Not a-hole. That's not a prank. That's petty hateful property damage. But besides that, he knew what he was doing. At 6? I would have known that was wrong, let alone 16. His actions absolutely should have consequences. I skimmed over the start and missed the age. I figured he was around 10 pulling pranks like that and saw your comment, and had to scroll up to double check. OMG. He needs a reality check. Opie, you're definitely not the a-hole here. Not the a-hole, but your stepson is. His mother needs to stop making excuses for him. He is 16 years old, and she needs to stop enabling his bad behavior. You reacted much better than I would have. He has no respect for you or your possessions. You shouldn't apologize and don't go on the trip. Stand your ground and teach him the lesson that crappy actions have crappy consequences. At 16, he knows better. He knew what he was doing and thought he'd get away with it as usual. Instead of going on the trip, have a family meeting where you set boundaries with both your stepson and his mother. Next story. Am I the a-hole for blasting my mom on Facebook when she posted about my son? Some info. So my parents for years had the same cleaning lady. I was somewhat friendly with her daughter who's the same age, but it didn't become a thing until we were 20. I was back home from college for winter break. We got to spend time together and then I went back to school. Well, that time we spent together resulted in me getting her pregnant. Only I didn't know. She didn't want to tell anyone who it was because she was scared for her mom's job and me possibly rejecting our baby. After I finished college, I tried to reach out to her again, and that's when I found out. My son was 3 at the time. We did a paternity test to find out I was the father. That's when my parents showed their true colors after I told them. I should add that my son's mom's side is Cuban, so he's half Cuban. They always gave subtle racist stuff every now and then, but this was the first I saw them as full-blown racist a-holes. They denied my son being family. They accused my son's mom of being a gold digger, tampering with paternity results to try to trap me into taking care of her kid, as if a court DNA test was gonna lie. Unfortunately, they did fire her mom, but she managed to find work. For all these reasons, I stopped having contact with my parents. It has been 3 years since. I'm with my son's mom now, and we've been living together for a while. Well, a few months ago, I got a surprise visit from my grandma on my dad's side. She finally found out why I'm not around the family anymore, and she wanted to meet her great-grandson. Lucky that she's not like the rest of the family, and she was really mad when I told her the whole story. Then my grandma made lots of changes to her will, and says she wants my son to have something. No coincidence that once this happened, my parents were suddenly wanting to come around, wanting to reconcile. Having a feeling she probably took them out of her will or something, because most of their wealth came from her. And because I'm rejecting them from being in our lives, my mom decided to post a picture of my son on Facebook recently on his 6th birthday. And I saw it because my sister sent it to me. It's her venting about not being in her grandson's life, and to tell him happy birthday. Lots of people were giving her sympathy, so I commented, "Remember you said you didn't want a brown baby in the family?" Within that hour, it got some reactions, and my mom ended up deleting the post. Some in our family say I was an a-hole for embarrassing my mom online, where she was only venting her frustration, and so should have left it at that. My mom is mad too for using a mistake she made back then to humiliate her to friends and other family who saw the post, and are now being negative toward her. Hard to feel like I am, when I just called her out when she tried to pull the victim card. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Your mom is the a-hole. So glad you're not falling for her bullcrap about wanting to reconnect. You sound like a great guy. Congratulations to you and your little family. Thank you. They're the best thing to ever happen to me. You are not an a-hole by the holy power of awesome. Dude, kudos to you. And keep that side of the family far away from your kid. Not an a-hole. I'm probably gonna catch hell for this, but your mom went too far. True, she could have had a change of heart, but the timing is pretty suspicious. And trying to get sympathy on social media? That's just pathetic. That's how I see it. After 3 years of total silence and my grandma starts making these changes, and now they want to be part of his life? Man, it's too good. Too good. Not an a-hole. If it was a mistake, which she said in the past, then why hasn't she apologized for it? They haven't made any real strides to welcome your son and mother of your child into the family. I love how you called her out. Exactly. The family's so eager to reestablish contact and pretend everything's fine, yet conveniently haven't apologized, bought gifts, made a sincere attempt to spend time with the child's mother and her family. Trying to rug sweep the past without genuine reflection or remorseful apologetic actions seems suspicious. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to babysit for my soon-to-be former brother-in-law after I had babysat his kids for my sister? My sister ended her 4-year marriage a few weeks ago. There were alarm bells that went off for our family before she married her husband, but she was blinded by love and hope for the future. What came to be of the marriage was a cluster built on lies, grief, and hate. My sister's husband was a widower when they met with 3 kids under 10. He told her his wife had died when the kids were younger than 5. But the truth was that she was dead for less than 8 months, which she found out 2 years ago. He then told her the kids had asked for a mom, and she believed him. The kids did show signs to the contrary, but my sister has always been hard on herself, and I honestly believe she thought it was her, that she wasn't good enough, so she tried like hell to be. She would try to learn about their mom to talk about her, found photos to display, etc. She was committed to the marriage and the kids, but the kids hated her. wished her dead, accused her of hurting them, which was false, and lashed out. My sister insisted they get therapy, and it was after they settled into therapy that the truth came out about their mom not being dead all that long, that the kids hadn't wanted them to get married, and it wasn't because of her. They just wanted no stepmom. At that point, my sister still wanted to make it work, and she said she didn't want to abandon them. But then in October, she told me she was done, that she needed to get her life in order. She needed to find a job, etc., but didn't want to leave the kids alone. I offered to babysit for her if she promised to work toward the end goal of leaving. She did it all, and in May, she told her husband she was done, that she was leaving him and wanted a divorce. She filed a week later with me by her side. She then admitted that her wake-up call was going through a miscarriage, and when her husband told the kids about it, they told them they had prayed she would lose the baby. Anyway, once my sister left, I stopped babysitting because she didn't need me anymore. Her soon-to-be ex reached out and told me the kids needed someone. I was still their aunt, etc., and would I continue looking after them? I said no, and he blew up at me. Told me that kids are innocent. I said those kids were innocent, but that through his actions they were full of hate and did not want anything to do with my family. And I was not dealing with that just for him. He told me I should be ashamed to leave the kids behind, and it stuck in my head. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Even without a backstory, you aren't obligated to be anyone's babysitter. And since this guy's such an a-hole, you certainly don't have any motivation to do him a favor. There isn't even any question here. Everyone in this family should go no contact this guy and move forward. Enough energy has been wasted here. Not an a-hole. I'm sorry, but isn't there any daycare system where you live? Nobody works as a nanny? There isn't one soul that would babysit the kids. Not an a-hole. He found your sister really quick, so he wouldn't have to deal with his kids. He needed a free sitter. The fact that she was willing to be intimate with him was a bonus. What a freaking a-hole who don't deserve to be a father. It's a money thing, 100%. Why pay for what you can get for free? You are not an a-hole. Your sister's ex sounds like a negative and controlling person who doesn't like being told no. You did your sister a solid so she could extricate herself from the situation, and you're under no obligation to do anything for your ex-brother-in-law. It was never a you problem that he lacked sufficient childcare, but now it's 100% a him problem. Last story is titled, Am I the a-hole for not inviting my unemployed sister on an expensive annual glamping trip? I, 34 male, met my friend 42 female 15 years ago when we were working for the same company. I was working under her for 3 months before I got promoted to where I became the equivalent to her boss but no longer in the same department. We've remained friends since, and I consider her family, hence sister in title. Since 2012, we've done yearly glamping trips together. The trips are usually expensive, as we rent a cabin and boat, get a ton of alcohol, catered food, firewood, etc. I married 2 years ago, and my sister is very close to my wife now too. My sister was fired June 2020. I thought she was looking for work, so I'd sent her leads for any positions that I came across that fit her work experience. August 2020, she told me she was going to take advantage of the COVID unemployment bonus and just enjoy life, so I stopped sending her any leads on positions that I knew of. March 2021, she even bought herself a really nice kayak. My wife and I had considered buying those a few weeks prior but decided against it due to the price. My birthday was earlier this month. Friend and I decided to go out to an all-you-can-eat hot pot. It was 2 couples, my sister and her son, then my wife and I. Sister decided to order expensive drinks to go with the food, while everyone else shared 2 kettles of tea. When the bill arrived, we asked for itemized split. The server said they don't do itemized split, but can split it evenly in max 4 bills. We accepted. Each bill came out to about $115, with a 20% gratuity added for less than 6 guests. The bills were paid by 2 friends, sister and myself. We headed outside and eventually parted ways. Next day, my wife tells me that my sister complained that I wasn't cognizant of her being unemployed and having to pay the $115 bill, and that my sister would like me to be more aware of her financial situation in the future. I got annoyed at this, since her financial situation is her own fault by still not even looking for work, confirmed through wife earlier, but I didn't verbalize it. I just said fine. A couple days later, when I started planning the annual glamping trip, I sent out the invites, but did not include my sister since I was being cognizant of her financial situation and request. She found out and raised a stink. I told her the trips are expensive, and I'm just being aware of your financial situation. I didn't think I did anything wrong given her request, but she raised another stink, but to the whole group that usually goes. Some friends have reached out to me saying that I'm being unfair by not inviting her just because she isn't working. I brought up her request through my wife, but still some of the friends and my wife think I'm wrong for not inviting her. I'm torn on whether my decision was right. Am I the a-hole for not inviting her? Edit. In the past, she's asked me to pay for her when she was unemployed, and I invited her to anything. Not an a-hole. She can't even pay for her own meal. How could she pay for the trip? She chose to be a freeloader of the government. She wants you to support her too? Lol. Teach her a lesson until she is forced to look for a job because there is no such thing as free food. If she wants to take advantage of the government, tell her not to do that to you too. If they forced you to let her come, make it clear that you are not responsible to her share even for a cent. The friends telling you off can share funds for her. Lol. A borderline not a haul for me. I'm really struggling with this one. In principle, it seems an a-hole move. But, and it's a huge but, her behavior at the dinner strongly suggests to me that she is wanting to be invited and have everyone else pay her way. The fact she ordered expensive drinks and then complained about you not being cognizant of her financial situation absolutely screams out to me that she was hoping to be able to order expensive stuff and have everyone else pay for it for her. So I am suspecting that if you had invited her, she would have tried to guilt you into paying for her trip as well as your own. I suspect the argument would go something like, you have to pay for me because I am unemployed and you invited me. We've had those instances in the past when she was unemployed. Friends get together, I'd invite her, and she'd text me from under the table to cover for her since I invited her. Not an a-hole. Probably going to be an unpopular opinion, but I think after the dinner situation, you should have had a conversation with her. If she recently bought a kayak, how were you supposed to know that she couldn't afford a $110 bill? I would have assumed she couldn't afford a trip too, but still would have sent out an invite and told her, I understand if you're not financially able to go this year. I bet she would have come up with the money anyway. Personally, she sounds like she could be a user. You're paying for everything but food. Yeah, I guarantee she wasn't going to miss that.